Let me tell you a fun fact. Within the last 2 centuries, more than 90% of the world's millionaires have been created by investing in real estate. But if done incorrectly, without the right knowledge, required skills, or partners, it can also create a ton of problems and a lot of sleepless nights. You feel like sometimes there are way too many gurus out there trying to sell you on a weekend course or just too much noise to cut right to the facts? Yup, we did too, and this is why we started this podcast. Our goal is to provide real estate investors, entrepreneurs, and enthusiasts with all of the most recent knowledge, secrets, tips, tricks, and tactics so that you can grow your own portfolios, increase your returns, net worth, and most importantly, create generational wealth for you and your loved ones. Remember, this is your real estate career. Information is your sword and shield, so eat hearty, prepare for battle, and grind your way to victory. My name is Tejas Gosai. I'm joined by my partner, Jeremy Moyer, and we welcome you to the Real Estate Investor MBA podcast. Hi, guys. Welcome back to your favorite real estate podcast. It's Real Estate Investor MBA. I have the pleasure of being your host. My name is Tejas Gosai. My co-host, Jeremy Moyer, could not make it today. He is flying to Miami, but I promise that we have a great show. Please check us out online. Thank you to everyone that's commenting on YouTube and LinkedIn and all of our social media. We are all over the internet, iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, and we love all of you. So big thank you for making our program possible. Little plug before we get into our guest, Omar Kahn, who is awesome, super brilliant dude. Check out our website, rei.mba. We have inventory nationally, off-market inventory. There's a portal you can get into. We have market intelligence. We have a section where we're curating the best news and information that our team can find about the real estate market, educational pieces as well. And last but not least, we have something called the Real Estate Roadmap, where we've put together a series of videos that educate investors from just starting out with your first multifamily or how even to get into it, all the way through fundraising, asset management, creating a private equity fund, so on and so forth. So it's really great. Please check it out, rei.mba. Let's talk about Omar Kahn. So guest, great guy. He runs a company called Boardwalk Wealth. It's a private equity firm combining the rigor of institutional finance with hands-on systematic operational excellence born from deep local connections and psychological analysis of select target markets. They specialize in multifamily apartment syndication as well as quick service restaurants, in addition to other alternative investments. Omar is responsible for capital raising, strategic planning, and investor relations. He has over 10 years of global investment experience. He has participated in capital financing and M&A transactions valued at $3.7 billion. He is a CFA charter holder and graduated with honors from the University of Toronto with a BCom in finance. Omar moved from Canada and lives in Oklahoma with his wife and sons. Super smart dude, has done very well for himself. For some of the listeners that are still considering getting into real estate or buying their first multifamily or are on bigger pockets and are at that phase where they're reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad, I think it's really important to have guests like Omar on the program. There are a lot of folks that have certain things when it comes to scalability that others don't. And you know what they say, if you are complaining about resources, you just have to be more resourceful. So when you hear Omar, he's really talking about very specific changes in the market that affect his criteria on purchasing. And after looking at some of his information online too, you can see how detailed they are on their financial analysis, their underwriting, a lot of what he does to make sure that when he speaks to an investor, which is really important, there's people don't realize when you're managing other people's money, you don't sleep very well unless you're managing the money well, right? So you have to plan for a lot of errors and overages. And he's doing these massive new development projects. And the hedge on things like that is 10, 20, 30, 40 years. So for the newer investors, this stuff is pretty hefty, but it is really just as simple as Google searching some of this information, packing it or unpacking it, and just slowly figuring this out piece by piece. So anyone can do this. I'd like you to be inspired by somebody like Omar. And check out our other 60 episodes that we have on our website, rei.mba. And happy hunting to everybody out there. Cheers. All right, we're here. Omar, thank you for making it to the show.
Hey, thanks for inviting me. I'm very obliged that you're hosting me today.
Yeah, for sure. I just gave your intro. You've been very, very busy and very successful. I would love for you to brag about yourself and share what you've been doing lately, how you got here.
Don't worry, I can brag on it. Look, our business model is very simple. Like my background is in finance, right? So analytical, my family's been in real estate. I'm the third generation. So, growing up or when you're in a business family, you learn a lot just through the process of just observation. It's a bit like, when people have families, like for instance, their dad is a physician like yours, right? Or my wife's a physician, right? So a lot of kids that one or two of their parents are physicians, they know a lot about that industry, right? And they kind of pick those things up. Our model is very simple. We do both acquisitions and development on multifamily. So development is just ground up, luxury, Class A. And acquisitions is basically existing properties. We come in, we improve. They're either value add in terms of CapEx or management or some version of both things. So we're in Texas, Georgia, Florida, and South Dakota. I shade over 2,000 units now.
Bravo.
And yeah, it's it's simple in theory, hard in practice, right? But it's one of those formulas where you just build on it and you keep going and things get better. Hopefully you keep going.
Yeah. You've made a lot of the right moves. That's great over time. How long ago when did you get into one of your first projects, just for a listener that...
I moved from Canada about, 7 years ago. Nice. I worked close to about 10 years in finance. And then I think I started my own company under my own name at least, because every year I was doing managing, running projects, all of that stuff on other people's behalf, in terms of big companies like RBC, Synovus, all of these big companies, the IBC. And now on my own since like 2017, 2018, give or take.
That's great. And you made a lot of headway, and it's very tumultuous time. There's just been so many radical things going on, and you've been on this trajectory. So let's get into some of the fun stuff.
Yeah.
What are you doing in these markets? Can you give me a specific project, kind of share, how you raise the capital for it, or, just some of the semantics, mechanics?
Look, in terms of the operations, we based on my background, right? We're very heavily involved in operations, like in a lot of syndicators. They're very good at marketing, but that's kind of where they falter. Based on our background, my background specifically, we're an operator first company. More than 90% of my net worth is tied into my project. So, it's sink or swim essentially, right? And I'm the biggest, if not the biggest, at least a top 3 investor in all my deals. So again, there's a lot of alignment, skin in the game, all of that stuff. With regards to running the deals, it's very hands-on. It's a big team now that's developed over a period of time. And with regards to finding the deals, it's a lot like finding deals anywhere else, right? You develop relationships, your reputation develops over a period of time, but you got to show up and perform. And on our side, performance, a lot is based, one is the financial aspect, how to source the deals, get the right financing, get the right capital structure in place. But on the operation side, you need to have substance. So how do we source our materials? What is the cost of us doing this? Just being very financially sophisticated, and then bringing on sophisticated people and relationships along the way, like in construction management and property management and asset management, accounting, all of these particular steps. And these things take a period of time to develop, right?
Sure.
But bringing them on one after the other, it requires a big upfront cost, which, obviously makes people a little shy. Hey, should I do this? Should I not do this? When will I get the return? But if you don't do it, there's just all.
Right. So yeah, you've used that in practice. You've built it up to what it is, and you're doing some big projects. So some big numbers. I think you mentioned 144 unit luxury development. I can't remember where that was.
That's at Sioux Falls, South Dakota. It's our third development there. And my value add that's coming up, that's in Sandy Springs, Atlanta. So Sandy Springs is like, what's it going to, look, if you've been in Dallas, you kind of know it's the equivalent of, say, Plano, Frisco, South Lake, kind of combined together, very high into demographics. So there, the median income is about $114,000. So that tells you it's a very well established community, good school district, all that sort of thing.
And so, yeah, in some of these markets, right, they don't have the inventory. You have to create it. I think we overlook development a lot because a lot of the show is multifamily, fully occupied or some type of redevelopment. But it's different than ground up luxury, which is very specific and very costly. and it's a long hedge. It's very different than buying a 10 unit or a 20 unit, and it takes years. How's it working with all the madness that's going on? You're plowing through, you're on course.
Look, some days it sucks, but the point is, look, we signed up for this. We invested a significant portion of our own capital. And again, this didn't happen like overnight, right? There were steps leading up to it. When you have a good team, you've got good partners, you've got a lot of sophistication built into the system, which you built over a period of time. You don't go like that and it's done, right? Then, look, ebbs and flows happen, but the job we signed up for, right? So why complain? Yeah. It is what it is. You're a broker, right? I'm sure not every month is the greatest month of your life.
Right.
And it's the same with development, right? It's the same with acquisition. It's the same with any profession you have chosen to take. Yeah. You have to keep chipping away at it. You've got to be consistent. You've got to show up all the time. And some months suck and some months don't suck, but you've got to look at the long-term picture. Hey, are we going in the right direction? Is this actually the right thing to do? Are we taking the right bets? And if you are, then you keep rowing. And if you're not, you change.
Yeah, it's crazy to hear about a lot of the folks that, interest rates, all this fun stuff, right? Everything that's happening right now in real estate, it's like alarming. Everybody's freaking out.
Yeah.
But we're still at historic lows. I'm always saying like calmness prevails. People are still building. People are still getting their supplies slightly delayed. But, the news, all about the fallout, all about the mayhem. What do you think about the current environment and where some things are going to go?
Look, I actually work in capital markets, so I can tell you most of the news is, at least from the capital markets financing point of view. Look, you've got all this stuff about rates increasing. Look, a lot of this stuff was on the horizon. So while the magnitude of the rate increase, I can understand, might have surprised some people. The fact that rates were going to increase, that's been on the cards forever, man. If somebody hasn't planned for it or this is news for them, then I think they need to go look for a new job completely. It's been on the cards for a long time.
There's plenty of people, though, that are like, oh my God, I can't believe this happened, especially the younger generation folks that are first-time investors in the past few years. They're running away from the industry.
Yeah. So look, that was always on the cards. Now, maybe some can say, I expected 50 basis points and 75 happened, but sure. So we had always prepared and I know lots of other good sponsors have always hedged and prepared our portfolios for some more tough times. Mm-hmm. But also coming from a family that's been in business for a long time, personally, just forget about real estate, just generally. Right. We've also seen ebbs and flows. So that kind of teaches you. You learn through the mistake of others. Sometimes that's a good lesson, right? You don't have to make your own mistake. And the times will be good and times will be bad. And if you go too crazy when the times are good, you're going to have a hangover when the times are bad and it's going to suck. Right? Yep. You're never perfect and you're always learning. But if you take a middle path where you don't get too ecstatic when the times are good, but you also don't get too down when the times are bad. All you need is time. As long as you're in the game, you have time. You live aside another day, you're going to get to the other side. But if you flame out, then you might be like a month away from like the best year or month of your life. But if you flame out right before then, well, you never know, right?
Yeah.
You could be doing spectacular. And if you go on some sort of binge about spending your money, well, bad times might be around the corner. And well, then you need the money and now you don't have it because you spend it on dumb stuff.
Yeah. You got to stick conservative. Yeah. Yeah. People do spend their money on dumb stuff. It's kind of ridiculous.
I'm one of those people sometimes. But
you got to be.
You got to live a little.
Yeah. You have family, kids?
Yeah, I've got
2 kids?
Yeah.
Nice. Me too. They're 7 and 9 boys.
Both are mine, and mine are boys. They're 2 and 4.
Oh, bravo, man.
Yeah.
Similar age gap. It's neat to watch the news with children and you almost can't do it.
Wow, you watch the news with children? Wow.
I try to watch some news.
Your children let you watch the news. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. I also grew up with that where like it was okay to watch the news and it was okay to hear things about the stock market.
Well, it's okay to hear about it, but I think maybe my children are so young, they'd really.
7 and 9, like the big one's going to be in 4th grade. So like, he's kind of big enough to understand some of these things.
Yeah. No, but this is a version I think you're talking about, Joe, where people don't talk about money. That's always been surprising to me because it's not like my family talked about every single dollar they had.
Right.
But there was a conscious attempt to tell you, look, you can afford these things. You can't afford these things. We can do these things or we choose not to do these things because we're doing something. Actions have consequences, right? Or rather, the choices you make have consequences about other paths you can take later on or at that time. So I've always been surprised when people tell me, we never talked about money. I was like, look, we never specifically talked about money, but we didn't shy away from talking about it also.
Right. I think the best way to do it, raise your kids that way.
It was just a regular part. Like, hey, if you do this, then you can't do this. So understand, I mean, there's a scarcity. I mean, every path has consequences, right? I mean, I'm not like major con. Look, if you buy this pair of shoes with your pocket, right? Then you might not be able to buy that sporting equipment in a home. I mean, it's small things like that, right? And obviously they translate into bigger things when you grow up.
Sure. Yeah. Got to raise kids right. Let me move into something else. So, markets, what is driving you to specific states? I know it's always like, hey, we have some relationships, this, that, but are you looking at other places that you haven't been in yet? Are you open on that? Can you talk about?
I'm not opposed to the idea, for instance. Look, I mean, and as an example, I've got close to 900 units in Atlanta, around Atlanta right now. When I look around in Tennessee, I look around in Oklahoma. Not that I've done something there, but I mean, if something comes up, I'll look at it.
Yeah. What do you think some of the good markets are? What do you think some of the places are on the rise?
Look, I'm very happy with the markets we're in. We're in Texas. Now in San Antonio only. We're in Atlanta. We're in Orlando. We're in Jacksonville. We're in Sioux Falls. We're really happy with these markets. Again, am I opposed to going somewhere else? No. But I mean, these markets also have a big enough volume that as long as we, take the right decisions, keep transacting, we have enough of a fill here. But that doesn't matter. I mean, if I see something in, say, I don't know, Knoxville, Tennessee, I'll go out.
Yeah, makes sense. Does where you are, does that, dictate some of your investors? Do you take investors from everywhere? Can you talk about that?
I have international investors. I have investors, I think, pretty much from all the 50 states, give or take. So physical proximity has no bearing on, or proximity of any kind, as an example, geographical, right? Has no bearing on our ability to accept someone's money or someone's ability to give us money.
Sure.
Yeah, so that has no bearing whatsoever.
Yeah, that's fantastic. How do you, in your few years or many years, if you think about the volume of what you've done in the time, accredited investors, some people don't know what those are. I know you work with them, high net worth.
Mine is primarily all accredited investors, maybe. Yeah.
Pretty sure. Let's talk about that. So pretend I don't know. What's an accredited investor?
So I hope I'm not screwing up the definition. So it's either your net worth is over $1 million, not including your primary residence. If you're a household or rather filing jointly, I think it's $300,000 of income in the last 2 or 3 years. If you're single, it's $200,000 of income in the last 2 or 3 years. If you check any of those boxes, it's an or, it's not an and, right? Or this, or that, right? You're very good.
Yeah, and one of the reasons is to have folks that have the intellect to be able to put that much money to work. And
I think it's less to do with intellect and more to just with you having money.
I don't know. I guess I'm saying
yeah.
You're right. I guess I mean federally or like the statute.
Yeah. That's what the government thinks. Like if you have money, you must be intelligent. We always know that's not always the case. No. Right.
It's shenanigans.
You look at it.
Yeah. It's basically like you make X amount, you could do it. But yeah, and let's talk about that. So some of your folks internationally, nationally, I'm assuming, because I'm Indian, but physicians, lawyers.
Also, they're across the board. I wish I had more physicians, lawyers, doctors, lots of people. And dude, I did not even know people in the trades make this much money because, as immigrants, most people were not encouraged to go into trades. Nobody even talks about it as a potential career or a profession. Right? But man, when I found out that roofers make $300,000 to $400,000 a year, I was like, you become an accountant. I was like, man, why aren't there so many desi accountants? Be a freaking roofer for 4 years.
Yeah.
With your money, you're going to be way ahead of accountants. Who gives a shit what people think about it? Right?
I agree.
There's not a lot of accountants making $300,000 a year, but there's a lot more roofers making $300,000 a year. And I'd much rather be that roofer than that accountant who's slaving away. Not as an easy job, but I mean,
no, you're right, and I love what you're saying because it is this weird stigma of accredited investors or high net worth individuals or a certain brand or breed of people. But it's cool that you're saying that because most people don't talk about it. But yeah, carpentry. People make crazy money in the carpentry business. Of course, it's very specific.
So especially after coming into this, I'm surprised why there are not more people in the trades. Again, not an easy job. But it's also not easy to stay in your cubicle for like 40 years of your life. It's miserable all the time.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. So you moved from Canada, and that was how long ago, you said?
That was 7 years. 7 years, I think 10 years ago.
Okay, cool. And you did family out there still?
No, not anymore. I moved because of a girl. We're married now. So
Bravo.
so,
Congrats.
so that's why that's the wife. That's the mother of my 2 children. So we're still, that's why it was a toss up, and we were moving up, me moving down. Right? Well, can't be that bad. What would it be?
Where do you live now?
I live in Oklahoma.
That's right. Oklahoma.
Yeah, you don't got to rub it in, man.
No. It's beautiful. I have family out there. Also, the real estate market is doing well in that area.
I hope so. I mean, I haven't looked at anything here, but yeah, it's doing well.
So let's move on to returns. A lot of people are kind of nutty about sharing what returns they have, or what they're quote unquote promising, which you can't really say. Can you share what you're providing to your investors, what it looks like, things like that?
Yeah, look, we have a little sandbox. So good or bad times, it doesn't matter if the deal fits into that sandbox, returns wise, profile wise, we do it. So typically we're targeting low to mid teens IRRs, 3 to 6% cash on cash, 5-year forwards. Typically we're out in 2 or 3 years. So if a deal fits those perimeters, this is the LP, this is net of all fees, everything, right? So if a deal fits those perimeters, it's good to go, right? If a deal doesn't fit those perimeters, we don't do it.
That's great. How about asset managers? If you're working in a bunch of different locales, how do you handle that? You said it's not all your own team, right?
It's all my own team. It's all it does.
What?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I'm not going to take this risk. Most of my money is tied up in this project. Asset management and operations is our forte. I'm not going to hand it off to somebody else.
That's great. So you fully integrate it. You mentioned that earlier. I guess I just assumed there might be some other folks around.
I mean, no, I have a team. It's not like I'm literally doing not everything.
Oh, yeah.
No, but yeah, it's in-house.
That's great. So international investors, how does that work? If I've never,
Very simple. You give me your money, I go invest it. That's simple. All you need to do is have money. That's the rule number 1. You don't have money, I can't help you.
Yeah. Okay. Well, people always think there's something going on, but it really is that simple. Is there any regulation,
Oh, you just need to have, if you're syndicating or raising money publicly, you need to have an exemption in your doc. It's literally a box you got that says you'll accept foreign investor money, and you check that box off, you're good to go. That's it. It's really not that complex.
Sure.
If somebody really wants to give you the money and they're legitimate, they're not like the Mexican cartel or something, don't take money from those guys. Right?
Yeah.
Do not do that ever. Right?
Breaking Bad. Yeah.
Or breaking your bones, basically. Short of that, or I guess some terrorist group or something. Sure, North Korea, something weird like that. Short of that, if somebody legitimately wants to give you their money, they're a legitimate person, not that big of a problem.
Sure. That's great. All right. So how about the future? What do you have plans for? Obviously getting bigger, greater, maybe some different markets. Talk to me.
Look, the plan has always been the same. Just take it one deal at a time. Just keep doing deals, and where the future happens, right? As long as we do good deals, we're happy with what we're doing. That's it. I don't have any plans if people say, it's got to be 10,000 units for 4 years, whatever is a high number. I was never like that guy. I'm not saying that's bad. I just was never like it.
Yeah.
I want to do things one good deal at a time. A lot of money for our partners and investors, and we'll be fine in the long run, because this is more of a marathon, and hopefully I'm alive for a long time. Hopefully, right? So this is more of a marathon, and if you keep chipping away at it, we keep doing the right thing. With long term, we'll be fine. Hopefully,
yeah, no, you will be. It's great. Good karma. Well, listen, you're a super smart dude. I love it. Very knowledgeable. How does somebody reach you or get a hold of you?
Yeah, so that's very simple. You can join my mailing list by visiting my website, boardwalkwealth.com. That's BOARD walkwealth.com. I think you'll have it in the show notes. Right?
Yep.
The form is right on the homepage. And if you join now, by the way, I'll also give you access to my hidden mobile app that has over 9 hours of free passive investing courses. This is not like a pitch or anything.
No, it's great.
Right? That's that's at boardwalkwealth.com.
Awesome. Great stuff. So listen, thank you for being here.
Thank you for hosting me. Very generous.
Yeah, definitely. We'll have you back in the future. Good luck to your success. Cheers. And we'll catch you back. It's Real Estate Investor MBA on Tejas Gosai. We had Omar Kahn. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good one. Bye for now.